Guys, as I understand it, this is just a rumor that a lot of people that watch football actually like to maybe take a few dollars out of their wallet and actually place what's called a wager against somebody else or some type of mechanism. And so we provided an opportunity for people to do that and also donate to a good cause. So a gentleman by the name of Bobby, he has a podcast called Volunteer Roadshow. His 12-year-old son is battling cancer. There's been a fund put together by St. Jude's Hospital in correlation and connection, I should say, with betnow.eu. I've been asked with some other YouTubers to help support this. So basically what we've got, folks, for those of you who like to bet on football games, is we've got a link below in the description section. And it says Samstrong. The hashtag is Samstrong. Use that link. You go on betnow.eu. You set up an account, and anything that you donate to the account to do your wagering, there's 50% added to your account balance. So, for example, you throw in $100, BetNow will add $50 to it to do your wagering. And if you use the promo code MRTVCFB, you get the 50% additional to the account. And I'm going to find out from Bobby if there's a way that non-bettors can actually just donate directly to the cause. So
that's awesome. Yeah.
Good stuff there. And Bobby says that his son's doing much better these days. So that's fabulous news because that goes, well, without saying, way beyond the football field in importance. So let's all take notice of that every so often and check those things in life with our family and friends and other things that mean so much more than the game we enjoy watching on the field. All right. And it's always open to comments and questions here on the live stream with these two gentlemen on the line and the great work that they do. Tony Gerdeman from the Ozone, Steve Hellwagon from 247 Sports Bucknuts. Was there anything else that we wanted to hit before we bid adieu?
You know, Mark, I saw somebody mention that Justin Fields was going to have 4,000 yards of total offense. And that's kind of been around what I've been, I might go a little under that because of I'm thinking maybe like 3,000 yards passing and 500 or 600 yards rushing, but I could definitely see like 3,307 or 3,406. I would not be surprised at all if he gets there. I think Ryan Day's offense, Mike Yurcich's offense, Kevin Wilson's offense is set up for something like that, to have a guy with his abilities put up some prolific numbers. And I would not be surprised at all. And the potential is there. Let's just say that.
And hopefully for Ohio State fans, it's not a lot of 550-yard efforts against the FAUs of the world. And then some lesser of, the perfect formula is maybe like 240 passing, 60 or 70 rushing against the better teams on the schedule. A very controlled, nice effort in a 35-point effort by the Ohio State offense against a quality defense.
Dwayne Haskins, I think, spoiled you. Steve mentioned Ohio State fans being spoiled at times, and Dwayne Haskins definitely did that. But what I'm interested to see, before Dwayne Haskins, Ohio State quarterbacks Braxton Miller, JT Barrett would fade in November because they didn't necessarily have the arm to get through the Big Ten weather in November. Dwayne Haskins obviously did, and we saw the results, and it didn't seem to affect him any. Justin Fields has that same kind of arm strength, accuracy. We haven't seen that yet, but it'll be interesting to see if he can maintain September to October to November like Dwayne Haskins did, and he would. JT Barrett and Braxton Miller could not, at least throwing the ball. Justin Fields has the arm strength. I think KJ Hill said this spring that he's got a stronger arm than Dwayne Haskins. So weather should not impact him as much as it did the other guys, which will also allow him to maintain that pace. Braxton Miller had a pace. JT Barrett had pace. Where in October, it looked like they were going to put up some huge numbers. And then comes November, like middle of November, and they're throwing for 120 yards on 6 of 19 passing. Dwayne Haskins never had that. Justin Fields, I don't think he's going to falter in that same way. So that would allow that same pace, that early pace, to continue later into the season.
That's a good point because I'm old enough to remember Drew Brees, and we know he's still an outstanding NFL quarterback nearly 2 decades into his career. And when he was at Purdue, they went up to Michigan State in early November, and we experienced some terrible Michigan State weather up there about 3 years ago. It was just miserably awful. I think it was 16. It was miserably awful up there, blowing rain and snow, basically. And Michigan State did not have a very good team back in whatever year that was, 2000, 2001. And Purdue got upset. They were clearly on their way, to winning the Big Ten championship. But Michigan State, which did not have a very good team, I think it was right after Saban had left, and Bobby Williams may have been the coach there at the time, and they were just kind of going through a little bit of a transition. But they pulled off the upset basically on the back of the weather conditions, because you couldn't throw it all over the lot that day like Purdue and Drew Brees like to do.
I think that was a reason why maybe some people didn't buy into Joe Tiller at first, where they thought, this offense can't work in the Big Ten. You can't be a pass-happy offense because weather changes. But he showed pretty early that it was possible. It's just when you met up against better talent, things weren't as easy. But even Billy Dickin was throwing the ball around before Drew Brees, and it helped move. I think Urban Meyer carried the Big Ten forward. Joe Tiller got that momentum started and brought the passing game back. There had been some passing games like Illinois in the early 80s and things of that nature, but Joe Tiller brought the Big Ten a little bit forward as well. You think when they had like Jim Coletto as their head coach from Ohio State, and it was just, caveman football, and Joe Tiller, one of the Big Ten greats.
Eric Hunter, quarterback.
Yeah. So, I like back then what Tiller did, what Drew Brees did. It's crazy that he's still playing.
It is. Not only is he playing, he's
level.
I think
Or even better.
NFL Network's list of the top 10 players currently in the league. They're unveiling that like day by day, going 10 men down. And I don't think he's been mentioned, and they're down to the top 10. So my buddy of mine made that remark last night. He thinks Brees is going to be mentioned in that top 10, along with the Tom Brady, who's also played about the like number of years, and so on and so forth. But yeah, that it is very amazing. It's amazing to me that those two guys in particular have lasted this long and played at that high a level in that league for this long.
That's the Big Ten, baby.
Well, one of the more incredible stats, Tony, is you go back to these Illinois teams in the 1980s under Mike White, and they had a run of really good quarterbacks that ended with Jeff George. But earlier than that, and White was gone by that time, but Jack Trudeau and Tony Eason. But I think it was David Wilson, who threw for, what was it, 721 or 621 against Ohio State in a game in 81. I think it's still the Big Ten record for passing yardage.
In a loss, right?
Yes, it was like 49-42. The Buckeyes still won the game.
Art Schleicher was on the other side for OSU. Right. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, Schleicher had his best passing game against statistically against Bobby Bowden and Florida State in a loss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Haskins just broke the record last year. I think he threw for 458, and what Haskins had, whatever he had against, I think it was the Purdue game, ironically.
Yeah, definitely. I think he was over 500 that day.
Yeah, throwing the ball like 73 times. I remember Drew Brees throwing it 83 one game against Wisconsin. Crazy.
It's just crazy. Yeah.
Yes. Remarkable players. Drew Brees. Yeah, what he has done in the NFL just is amazing. I think he topped like 75-76% completion percentage last year.
He's got to be the happiest man in America to know that Michael Thomas agreed to a $100 million contract, and he'll be catching balls, for the rest of Drew Brees' career, basically, with the New Orleans Saints, whether it's 1, 2, 3 years, however many years it may be. And this is interesting. Ohio State sent out a list of 62 guys who were in preseason camps from Ohio State. The Bengals cut Chris Worley, so now I guess it'd be down to 61. And Jalen Marshall would actually be on a team right now. He played really well in that league, or American, whatever it was, the AAF in the spring before it went defunct. He was a very pleasant surprise, but then I guess he failed a drug test. He had agreed to a contract with the Oakland Raiders, and then As soon as he, I guess, got the drug test positive back, they released him. But there's probably going to be, I mean, I can't imagine that many guys will stick, but there will probably be high 40s of Ohio State guys in the NFL, maybe the most ever. And when you look at the money that they have signed for collectively, with $100 million by Michael Thomas leading the way, whatever Ezekiel Elliott and Dallas are eventually going to agree to, probably, won't be in that neighborhood because they don't pay running backs quite that much. But, it could be, as John Calipari joked one day about how he had gotten his guys, quote, billions of dollars worth of pro contracts in the NBA. Ohio State football won't be, you got $100 million in one guy. It's not going to be too hard to add it up and get to $1 billion perhaps of salaries for Ohio State guys in the NFL. Just absolutely mind-boggling.
And just one more quick note on Michael Thomas. Remember, he had 3 total catches heading into his 3rd year at Ohio State.
Unreal.
And now he's surpassing Jerry Rice each year that he plays, whether that's the first 2 years, the first 3 years in the league in regards to yardage and receptions.
It just goes to show you it's harder to do that at Ohio State than it is in the NFL.
It's almost kind of like the concept that who was the most qualified or who was the only man in America who could hold Michael Jordan under 20 points.
Smith.
It was Dean Smith.
Yeah. Dean Smith.
All right, guys, man, it's been a whole lot of fun talking Ohio State football, Big Ten football, past and present. We'll have to start, of course, grinding the game film on that FAU squad here very soon. And I'm sure you guys will enjoy that.